My name is Sheila Corona. Welcome to New Light Streaming Love and Sassy Seer Sheila, as this will undoubtedly be seen on both channels. So, today's little, I don't know what to call this. Oh, yeah, Sheila's thoughts on discernment versus judgment. And actually, there should probably be a question mark after that statement, because this is something that I'm finding myself questioning in these moments of now. Today is Wednesday, September the 3rd, 2025, and I'm watching myself. I think I may have alluded to this in one other recording. I know that I spent a little bit of time chatting with my housemate Lisa about this yesterday, because I'm watching myself and I'm wondering, am I looking at judgment or discernment when it comes to my assessment of a particular situation? Because, for one thing, I know that I have held others in a heavy handed sort of judgmental way in my lifetime. These are things I'm looking at for myself, right? Knowing that I have done that, when I witness things that aren't my cup of tea in others, and I know that there will be those who say, well, are you triggered by what you're seeing? And I don't know that triggered is the correct terminology, but it does affect me. And what I mean by that, in this particular case that I'm moving through at present, it involves a being that is, somebody I'm aware of, somebody I know, somebody I'm involved with in one way, shape, or form. And I'm observing myself and what I'm doing, and therefore I'm questioning, am I holding this as judgment or discernment? Because I see a thing in a particular light, right? My perspective. And of course, I have the right to my perspective. I have boundaries regarding, for myself, regarding this particular activity that I am witnessing. And I'm very clear over the course of the last few years. It's been shown to me by my guidance over and over and over again that I can fix no one else. I can only look at my own attitudes and behaviors and adjust myself according to where I am in the moment. Has to do with where my psyche is. It has to do with, I don't know, what all I'm learning in those moments of now, and how my behavior is outwardly. And so when something like this occurs, something that I'm witnessing happen in another, and I say, well, I no longer behave in that fashion, because I'm very clear that all I can do is look at my own behavior and work with my own programming and conditioning. It's not my job. And trust me, when it comes to work ethic, I made it my full-time job at one time to fix all of you who didn't see things in the same way that I did, because I knew I was right about something. Now, what I've come to feel for myself in these moments of now is that I have the right to be right about a thing for me. I know that it's right for me, but I don't know that about you or you or you or anybody else, really, because I haven't lived your experiences. I have no way of knowing what you choose or chose to come here to experience. And therefore, I cannot put my judgment or my discernment upon you, any one of you, only me. And half the time, I question my own discernment for my own self because of the programming and conditioning. And once one sees how much they have been programmed and conditioned, well, that calls all of my behavior into question for myself. And so, most specifically for me, when I choose to engage with another, regardless of what it is, again, it's not my job to, I mean, I share my thoughts, my feelings, my perspective on things, but I have no right to demand that everyone see it the same way I do. Now, I happen to feel that we are all one and singular all at the same time, and that both of those statements are true. We are the one and we are individuated all at the same time. That which calls itself Sheila, this being that you are, if you are tuning in, has been on the planet for 63 years and has had a myriad of different experiences that none of you have been privy to, except for that I share. And because of all of those experiences, every single one of them plays into the programming and conditioning that Sheila has experienced over those 63, almost now 64 years. It's a long time of experiences. And so when witnessing things that I have actually moved through in others, and I hold in a specific light, I'm watching myself in these moments of now. Am I holding that in judgment, or is it my discernment? And in either case, how do I feel about it and what do I want to do about it for me? Because there are boundaries that I have, and I don't wish to step over my boundaries. It's just a huge conundrum, and I'm bringing this forward because, again, this is something that I won't say struggling with, but I'm watching myself very carefully And I'm glad that I'm taking the time to do so. Because by yesterday afternoon, I thought I had an answer. And now this morning, I'm not so sure. Sometimes, oh, the difference a good night's sleep will make. And so, what do you think? I'd love to hear your take. How do you differentiate between discernment and judgment? It's one thing to discern an activity, a thought, a thing as being not for me. The difference for me is when I hold that person in some sort of derision or um, and I don't. I feel as though I see exactly what is happening, but I'm also questioning how to move through this situation without putting too fine a point on things. Because it's not my job to point things out to people. And I wasn't asked for my opinion and my, you know, not just opinion, but my perspective, right? Which is what an opinion is, actually, in my view. An opinion is a person's perspective because there's a lot that goes into informing opinions slash perspectives. It moves over into judgment when we're saying, oh, that's wrong. And all I know is it's wrong for me. I see for myself now, again, how it's not my job to correct the thinking or the thought process of another. Because I have no way of knowing what any of those beings over there that are experiencing said thing that I'm having a judgment about, what their process is, where their psyche is, what they came here to experience or learn, what the universe has in store for any of them, including myself. And so to put my judgment, my discernment onto another, I know for me, I want no parts of that. So when moving through something, when it comes to myself, these are the things that I am, in heavy contemplation about. Anyway, that's all that that's really all this has been about, is a way for me to share and ask where do you come down in this particular? Would you be interested in having a conscious conversation with me about discernment versus judgment? What does that mean for you? How do you move through things like that? What is your definition? Because I'm learning that the definitions of words change for each being based on their experiences. Our experiential filters are very much unique. And what I have come to see, sense, and feel for myself is that regardless of whether I judge something as good or bad, It all serves the whole on some level. And it's not my place, not my job to say that that shouldn't be. I have the right to say that it can't be for me. I have that right, and that is a boundary that I have in place. At any rate, I'd love to hear from you. If you don't feel comfortable sharing your comments in the comment section, send me an email, consciousconversationscentral@gmail.com. And if you want to do a conversation, just let me know when you're available. The only requirement really is Zoom. And you don't even have to appear on camera if you prefer. I'm letting that go. I used to feel as though, because for some reason it felt like, you know, that's kind of hiding, but I've let that go. And so if you don't wish to appear on camera, that is your choice. But if you are willing to come and have a conversation with me on camera about, and you don't have to be on camera. I just recorded about discernment versus judgment and what you feel that is for you. I would love to hear whatever you have to share. So, until we meet again, I hope that you will move towards that which brings you joy in each moment that presents itself to you. It is just a matter of your perspective and your perception of your perspective in that moment. Until we meet again, be well.